Jack? Where's Jack? Where is he? Jack, I want to see you. Great job, Jack. Thank you. What a job you do. You know, we have an incredible thing. We're always talking about the fake news and the bad, but we have guys, and these are the guys who should be getting Pulitzers.
All right, folks, we're back here. Human Events Daily, Real America's Voice. I want to say thank you to the entire staff at Real America's Voice, as well as Turning Point and the Charlie Kirk Show, the studio, just everything that they've been stepping up and doing this entire week. The fact that they've had to deal with unspeakable horror. Many, and I'm just going to say it, many of the people that are working here every day were at the event. Many of the people who were there, Blake was there, and yes, they saw it, and they're still going. They're still going for Charlie. And someone else who has gone through more than any of us is Mrs. Erika Kirk. And I heard the news last night. Going to admit, I heard the news last night, and I was like, I had to tie my hands together so that I didn't tweet it out, because I was so excited and I was so happy when the decision came down that Erika Kirk would be named the chair and CEO of Turning Point USA. I mean, if you know Erika, if you've got to meet Erika, and I think people are sort of, publicly getting to meet her for the first time, but she's so warm and so loving and yet so strong. And ever since she became a mother, you can just see this strength that exudes from her, and in the way that motherhood does for the best moms. It makes them better people. It makes them more complete. I've seen it. I'm speaking of experience, having seen that same change in my own wife, Tanya Tay. And, I've seen her a few times as well in the wake of this, and the way she's dealing with it, the tragedy, the grief, but also the anger and the resolve, the fortitude to understand that we stay the course, that Charlie's mission is now our mission. And Charlie wanted her. Charlie wanted her to do this, should anything happen to him. He said that. And it's the right pick, not only for the organization, not only to honor Charlie, but it's the right pick because she's the right person to fill that role. And I think in a way that perhaps only he understood, that when Charlie first picked Erika to be his wife, to, get together, get engaged, that he knew, he could see it in her, that she had everything, absolutely everything, to take the reins, to carry his torch. And so we're going to do everything that we can. I know I'm going to do everything I can to support Turning Point, to continue to support Turning Point, to step up and make sure that all of the interest and the outpouring of generosity that's been flowing to the organization makes it so that Charlie's mission never ends, that the work never ends, that the fight never ends. That is absolutely what Charlie would have wanted. And it's just incredible to see. It's amazing that she even has the ability to do this. And I couldn't be happier in the sense that I don't want any of this to happen, but I couldn't be happier that this was the move that the organization made and that she has accepted. I want to bring on our next guest now. I'm told that we have Senator Markwayne Mullin is joining us. Senator, are you there?
Hey, Jack, how you doing, brother?
Senator, thanks so much for being here. I'd love to get your reaction if possible. I know that you know Charlie and Erika to this news that Erika Kirk will be taking the reins at Turning Point.
Well, I had the privilege of knowing Charlie, very well. Erica, I didn't get the privilege of knowing her like I wanted to. Just met her a few times, but
Of course.
what a perfect individual to carry on her husband's legacy. I think one thing that all you need to see to know the relationship that Erica had with Charlie is when Charlie announced to the world that he was engaged to her, and the look on her face when he walked in saying, I can't do this. I can't do this with you looking at me like this. And she just had this love and this awe about him and who he was. And then to see her strength when she stood up and addressed the world, and you saw the Turning Point USA's chapters just go through the roof of people wanting to be part of it. There's no question that she needed to take the reins, that she was the right person, and Charlie saw strength in her. Charlie loved her. They both had a vision and a love for the outreach, because it was outreach that Charlie had. Charlie reached out to the young people, reached out to the world, preached the gospel, would witness to anyone, was a mentor, and by his side, actually, I would say hand in hand, they did it together. And so this is the right move, and this is the direction that Turning Point is going to go global.
Well, I think that's right, and I haven't really revealed much of what's going on behind the scenes, but I've even been fielding a lot of those requests and messages from overseas, particularly in Europe, but also in Asia, South Korea, and Japan, where Charlie held his last couple of stops, as a matter of fact, where people are saying, how do we start Turning Points over here? How do we do it? How do we get involved? How do we get so actually the organization is going to be even bigger than
Right.
when Charlie was at the helm, and I think that Erika is absolutely the person to make sure that whatever comes next, that this organization stays true to those ideals that Charlie built it upon, and to be sure, the entire team is staying on. Everyone who built this thing is behind Erika 100%.
And Jack, this isn't just about Charlie Kirk's legacy. This is to continue the movement. This is to
Yes.
continue what Charlie built. Charlie wouldn't want it about his legacy. He wants to see that the mission that he started, the vision that he started, continues and grow. Because it wasn't too long ago that Charlie he wanted to be on every campus, high school campus in the United States. I think there's somewhere around 23,000 plus campuses in the United States. And the last time I checked, the last time I saw Andrew put out a message out on X. There was something like 57,000 requests for Turning Point USA chapters. I don't know how many
That's
of
right,
those
and
are
that and
high
that
school.
number changes by the minute,
By the
Senator.
minute.
I know we only have a couple of minutes with you left. I did want to ask you. We do have news of the day, and I can hear Charlie in my ear saying, "Jack, don't forget to ask the senator about the news of the day." So, this rule change regarding the president's nominees, many of which have been languishing in terms of confirmation. Talk to us about this new Senate rule change and how important it is.
So what we're doing is restoring the norms of the Senate. The history, Jack, real quick, 98%, actually over 90% of non-essential, which I mean, they're all essential, but I mean, non-cabinet members, non-judicial members, what we call civilian noms, where over 90% was voice voted since Obama. The first time that didn't happen, or I say previous to Obama, the first time it didn't happen is when Trump was in office. Only 60% of his civilian noms went through. And this is the first time ever in history that not one single person has been able to go through by voice vote or unanimous consent. So Chuck Schumer has went nuclear on the Senate. What we have done now is we said, okay, since you're not going to let the norms continue, we're going to do a rules change. Leader Thune made this very clear at the beginning of Congress. He said we can either do this hard way or we can do this easy way. Chuck Schumer decided to do it the hard way. We're responding to it in probably 15 minutes or within 15 to 30 minutes from right now. We'll do the first en-bloc where we're going to confirm 48 individuals at once for these nominees. We're going to come back later and do 103 on another en-bloc. We will have all the backlog done by the time we get probably mid October, and then we'll be waiting on the president to send us more noms. We will be able to get everybody that he has on the list. As long as that paperwork is done, we'll be able to get them through almost immediately.
Well, Senator, that's incredible. I mean, you look at these nominations and the fact that here we are sitting in September. President Trump made the nominations over a rolling course of weeks at the beginning of the year. That was all the way back in January. I mean,
Right.
it seems inconceivable, I think, to the average American to say, wait a minute, what's the government doing? How's the agenda being worked forward? And they're still having open positions that exist so many months, almost 10 months now into the admin. This is what the people voted for.
Right. Well, but Chuck Schumer, you got to remember what's going through Chuck Schumer his mind is that the American people got it wrong. I know best. So instead of giving the American people what they chose by saying we want Trump's administration and kick out the bums from the Biden administration, Chuck Schumer is saying you got it wrong. We're going to slow roll this and keep these Biden appointees in place. That's not what the American people want. That's why they kicked the Democrats out of control last November. And 12 months from that election that happened last year, we're going to have President Trump's people in place and continuously putting this country back on track.
And that's what it is, because of course, going into midterms, we'll start up very soon the political process, 1/3 the Senate, as it is. It's very simple, I think. And talk to me about this, though, Senator. The idea that that people are saying, you know what, those were the new norm. It's got to get thrown out the window because these senators, these Democrats, are sitting there trying to hold up the process, and they know they're doing so on purpose.
Yeah, it's about having to go around the obstruction. So many of these people have
Yes.
too much pride in the name being a senator, and they forgot that they're serving the American people. The title means nothing. It means nothing if you're not doing what's best for America. You are serving yourself, and that is what's happening up here with the old guards like Chuck Schumer that has forgot what his role is. He's to support what the American people chose. American people chose President Trump to lead this country in the direction which is completely opposite to what his radical Democrats did. And instead, he thinks he's more important than the voters of the United States. And so Leader Thune has a different mindset than a lot of other leaders have been up here. He's going, we're going to restore the norms. We're going to get the Senate working for the American people again. And that's exactly what has happened. That hasn't happened in quite some time. We've had leaders on both sides that was interested on their direction that they thought America should go to, rather than allowing the American people to choose the agenda, and then we're to carry out the agenda that they chose.
You'd think that would be simple, but as we know, when the power flows from the people to Washington, D.C., suddenly that town, the Beltway up there, has a way of making the simple so much more complex.
It's the way that the Senate is set up. I mean, I feel honored to be in the Senate. It is not my life. That's not what I'm going to do my whole life, but it's an honor to serve. But the way that it is set up, different than the House. The House, you can be a chair of a committee because you get more people to vote for you, and when you're a sophomore, you can become a chair of a committee. The way it works here in the Senate is the longer you sit on the committee, you'll eventually become the chairman. That doesn't mean you're the best person for the position. You just outlived everybody else. When they get there, it becomes territorial. they feel like they've earned it because they sat there longer than everybody else. And that's when their own personal agenda gets in the way of the American people's agenda. And I'm not throwing any colleagues underneath the bus. It's just that Leader Thune has said now, we're moving a different direction. We're going to work for the American people, and he is doing everything he can to make sure that the Senate works efficiently for the people again. And I am thrilled to be able to be part of it.
That's right. Look, we've got operational control of the border. I think now it's time we ought to take operational control of the federal government. So thank you, Senator, for your hard work on behalf of the American people, the American voter, the American taxpayer as well. God bless, Senator, and Godspeed.
Jack, thank you, and I'll see you Sunday, brother.
I'll see you. We'll be there. Wouldn't miss it for the world. And that's right, folks. This Sunday, of course, as everyone knows, the memorial for Charlie Kirk, the funeral for Charlie Kirk. We've set up and established fightforcharlie.com. So if you're trying to come, look, I understand it's going to be very, very, very well attended. This will be the largest event in Turning Point history, the first full stadium show or event that has been held for Turning Point. And even if you can't come, you want to support, there are ways to do that on fightforcharlie.com. And of course, every single bit of that is appreciated because all of it goes towards making sure not only that Charlie's legacy is honored, but that Charlie's legacy continues. And the best way to do that is to continue the work of Turning Point USA, taking his life's work. And think about that for a minute. This is Charlie's life's work. It's Turning Point. It's his legacy. It is what he leaves on the world. Perhaps one day, Erika will be able to pass it on to the children, if they want. That's a story for another day, as they say. But that's what Turning Point is. Turning Point was always meant to be passed on to the next generation because it was all about investing in the next generation, training the next generation, finding those leaders, finding that talent that was able to come up, that believed in the truth, that believed in American principles, that believed in the American nation, that believed in the American founding fathers, that believed in our religious heritage, the heritage of the Holy Bible, upon which all of Western civilization rests. Something, by the way, that we've been slipping away from. And I know that Charlie, and certainly I, have been calling this out for months prior to his assassination. And so that's why this event on Sunday is so important, because we are in the turning point. We're in it right now. It's going to be covered on all the news. It's going to be in all of it. Everyone's going to be seeing it. But again, as important as this event is, there is a possibility that the event is a failure. And what do I mean by that? Sure, there's going to be a lot of people there. There's going to be incredible speeches. But if you want this event to be a success, which is what we all want, you must turn your anger and your sorrow into action. You must take those emotions, take the horrific evil that was visited upon the Kirk family, and turn it into something good. Turn it into something true. Turn it into something real. Get motivated. Get active. And if there isn't a Turning Point chapter in your school or in your high school or even in your area, I don't know if they have local Turning Point chapters yet, but might as well just have to do them anyway. Sorry, Tyler. I just invented something. I just created more work for you. We're going to do it. We're going to do all of it for Charlie. And I'm very pleased to announce that just minutes after Senator Markwayne Mullin has stepped off camera here, the U.S. Senate has just unanimously established October 14th as the National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk. October 14th is Charlie's birthday. I couldn't think of a day that's more fitting than that. And I certainly hope, we'll see, that seems like that could be a good day for Erika to head to Washington, D.C. to posthumously receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom for her husband. They might do it this Sunday, we'll see. But if they don't do it this Sunday, I would say do it then. Do it in Washington. So that Charlie has one the same way that Rush did. The highest civilian honor that the president can bestow. And show me someone who deserves it more than Charlie. You can't. You absolutely can't. So that's my message. Get activated. Get focused. And when it comes to Antifa, be warned. You are on notice. I wasn't being facetious earlier when I said the Department of Homeland Security could play a huge role here. Domestic terrorism, domestic extremism, this is a massive, massive role for DHS. They have authorities, they have operations that can be brought to bear against the various constellation of organizations and front groups that constitute the Antifa threat. Yes, obviously, Antifa is an ideology. It is an ideology shared by various groups that are organized, some who use the name, some who don't, to perpetuate domestic terrorism and domestic terrorist ideology in our country. And it will be rooted out, root and stem from our nation, because they declared war on our nation. They shot and killed Charlie Kirk. I saw a leftist murder Charlie Kirk, and I saw them celebrate it. I saw a leftist murder Charlie Kirk, and I saw them celebrate it. We all did. And fix that in your mind. The singular point. This has gone mainstream, and there are operatives, there are individuals, there are groups, there are funding networks. All of it will be disrupted. All of it. It will be cast asunder. There will be not one brick left of this edifice when we are done. It's really simple. Leave now. If you're a member of one of these groups, if you're involved in this type of activity, walk away. Do the right thing. Maybe you could even help us. Remember, whoever flips first gets the best deal. So we'll see. We will see. But I promise you this. If you don't, you will not see us coming until it's too late. Because we're not going to stop. At all. Until one night, you get a knock on your door, and then it's time to go. Sleep tight. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, you have my permission to lay ashore.